Welcome back, everyone. Today's update is not just another headline. It's something that could directly impact the daily lives of millions of Americans. News is spreading fast about a potential Social Security increase that is set to take effect in September 2025. And the implications are huge for many seniors, retirees, and disabled individuals who depend on these benefits as their main source of income. Any change, big or small, can make all the difference between stability and hardship. Rising prices at the grocery store, higher rent, and medical bills that never seem to stop are already stretching people to their breaking points. So what happens when Social Security finally announces a possible increase? Will it be enough to ease the pressure, or will seniors still be forced to make impossible choices? These are the questions we're diving into today. For those joining us for the first time, this is Truth Lens, where we cut through confusion and bring you the news that matters most, especially for seniors and everyday Americans trying to navigate uncertain financial times. We know the struggles are real. There are seniors across this country right now sitting at their kitchen tables, counting pennies, wondering how to cover groceries after paying for prescriptions. Some are stretching meals just to make it to the end of the month, while others are living with the fear of losing their housing because their checks no longer cover the basics. If Social Security is your only steady income, you understand exactly why this update could mean hope at a time when hope feels hard to come by. Now, let's break it down. The Social Security Administration has confirmed that a potential increase in benefits is on the horizon for September 2025. The reason is tied to the ongoing challenges of inflation and the higher cost of living that so many Americans are struggling with. Social Security increases, known as cost of living adjustments or COLAs, are typically linked to the Consumer Price Index. This index measures the rising costs of everyday essentials like food, fuel, and shelter. Over the past few years, inflation has put relentless pressure on households. For someone living only on a fixed income, even a small increase in prices can feel devastating. That's why this potential adjustment matters so much. It's meant to help Social Security keep up with the realities of the modern economy. So how much of an increase are we talking about? While lawmakers and analysts are still working out the final numbers, early estimates suggest it could be significant enough to provide meaningful relief for recipients. Picture this. You've been receiving the same check each month, watching prices climb higher and higher. Suddenly, that check goes up by a few $100s. For many, that could be the difference between skipping meals or finally being able to afford both food and medicine in the same month. Imagine a senior who has been forced to cut pills in half to make prescriptions last longer. With this increase, they might finally be able to take their medication as prescribed. This isn't just about numbers on a paper, it's about real lives and daily struggles. Eligibility is another major point. From everything we've learned so far, the increase will apply across the board, meaning retirees, people with disabilities receiving SSDI, and survivors who depend on these benefits should all qualify. That's welcome news because these groups represent millions who rely on Social Security as their only reliable support. Seniors, especially those living alone, often don't have pensions or savings to fall back on. Every adjustment to Social Security directly affects whether they can pay the rent, keep the lights on, or afford their next meal. For those on supplemental security income or SSI, and for veterans who receive benefits alongside Social Security, the potential increase could also make a major difference. Of course, with more money coming in, many people naturally worry about taxes. Social Security benefits are taxable depending on your income level, and some are concerned that a bigger check might push them into a higher tax bracket. For seniors barely scraping by, the thought of giving more back in taxes can feel frustrating. But it's important to keep in mind that any increase still represents more money in your pocket overall, money that could help cover rising expenses. Still, this is another example of how complex and stressful managing retirement finances can be. Seniors shouldn't have to spend their golden years worrying about tax codes just to figure out if they can afford groceries. The timing of this increase couldn't be more important. Across America, seniors are struggling more than ever before. Inflation hasn't just raised prices, it has taken away peace of mind. We hear stories every day of retirees visiting food banks for the first time in their lives, of elderly couples turning down the thermostat in winter because heating costs are too high, of widows skipping medical appointments because transportation and co-pays are too expensive. The Social Security increase in September 2025 could ease some of these burdens, giving people breathing room and a little sense of relief. But the truth is, many seniors still feel that no increase will ever be enough to keep up with the runaway costs they face. There's also the bigger picture to consider, the sustainability of Social Security. Experts have been warning for years that with more Americans living longer and the baby boomer generation retiring in huge numbers, the system is under immense strain. Some question whether increases like this are sustainable for the long term. Lawmakers insist they are working on reforms to ensure the trust fund doesn't run dry, but seniors worry that future cuts or changes could undo the relief these increases bring. For many, this feels like a race against time. Will Social Security last long enough for them to live their lives with security and dignity? Let's not overlook the broader economic impact either. When seniors receive more money, they don't hoard it in savings accounts. They spend it. That spending supports local businesses, boosts community economies, and creates ripple effects across industries, whether it's buying groceries at the neighborhood store, filling prescriptions at the local pharmacy, or paying utility bills. That money flows directly back into the economy. In many ways, supporting seniors through Social Security is also a way of strengthening local communities. But while economists debate seniors live in the reality of today, imagine being 80 years old, living alone, and relying on nothing but your Social Security check each month. You've worked your whole life, raised a family, and contributed to the system faithfully. Now you're forced to choose between eating 3 meals a day or paying for blood pressure medication. This is not hypothetical. It's happening to millions right now. That's why announcements like this potential increase aren't just financial news. They're lifelines, offering hope where hope has been fading. As we head towards September 2025, all eyes will be on the Social Security Administration for the final details. Seniors deserve clarity, transparency, and assurance that their benefits will be protected. Because for those who depend on Social Security, this isn't just about a check in the mail. It's about survival. It's about being able to live with dignity after a lifetime of hard work. It's about not having to beg children or neighbors for help. It's about knowing that America's promise to its workers that Social Security will be there when they need it is being honored. Here at Truth Lens, we'll keep tracking this story every step of the way. Our mission is simple: to bring seniors, retirees, and struggling families the updates that matter most, stripped of spin and delivered with the facts that affect your daily life. As this story develops, we'll continue to highlight not just the numbers, but the people behind them, the millions of Americans for whom Social Security is the only thing standing between them and poverty. For many